Well, greetings to another episode of AGS Walkthrough. This time around, we are going to be doing a Cirque De Zale, or Cirque De Zale. I don't actually know how the Cirque or Cirque is pronounced, but as you can tell, this is about a circus. Now, here we are at the start of things, and by the start of things, I actually mean the longest introduction scene that I've ever seen on AGS before. But you can tell how things are just not going all that well for Zale. And actually, from what I can tell right now, it seems like not much is doing all that well for the entire circus. Like, for one thing, you have the ringmaster and magician sitting out here in his dressing room, and you have an elephant right inside the dressing room. Now, little known fact about elephants is that they will actually consume their own droppings. In this particular way, they will recycle most of the moisture that's gone through it, and they'll get any extra nutrients inside of it. However, this is something that most people don't know, probably wouldn't want to know. I only know this because I had seen it in a zoo at one point, and rather disgustingly, one of the younger elephants was actually diving into it with its mouth open. Blech. Oh, anyway, back at the game. What Zale's about to do here is something that I've wanted to do to so many of my bosses over and over and over again. Oh, would you actually do it, though? I probably wouldn't. Ah, yes, this hat before me is quite empty, and he pulls out a rabbit. You know, in truth, I was kind of hoping he would try to put the hat on instead of just reaching in and pulling out the rabbit. That, in my opinion, would have been funnier. But for those of you who don't know much about the pull the rabbit out of the hat trick, the hat has a false top. So the magician can show you that, hey, look, the hat's got a top on. But when he pushes down, the hat top pushes inwards into a little compartment inside the table, and he can pull out the rabbit, which, sadly for the rabbit, magicians would pull him out by the ears, because that's very painful for the rabbit, which makes the rabbit do some kind of kicking motion, so it catches the audience's attention. Rabbits just aren't really the kind of showiest, I guess, of animals, so that's what they did. Now, here we start, and we can see, you know, the actual first time that the title comes up. Cirque De Zale. I guess it's okay. Cirque De Soleil. That's the only Cirque de whatever that I've heard of. Cirque de Soleil. And I've heard of stuff like the Ringling Brothers. But really, I don't see many circuses. I've seen a few. According to my mother, I was at a three-ring circus at one point, and my brother and I weren't even watching the show. We were just watching all the items that they were carrying around for sale. As she put it, Okay, here we are. Now, as you can see, Zale's found himself in a rather strange situation, and right now we can see kind of the humor we're going to get, the speaking in symbols thing. A lot of this game is slapstick comedy. But I've seen much worse comedy. Much, much worse. So, really, I can use some opinions, actually, on my commentaries. Do you think I talk too much, too little? Should I talk more about the game? Let me know, because this will help me out a little bit more. Oh yeah, that joke they says here, that hat isn't the only thing that I filled. That leaves me wondering, what else did he fill? it doesn't look like there was anything to do with food or anything that, whatever that magician's name was, is going to be reaching into, so I don't really get that joke. And of course, here's where one of those problems that I have with the game comes in. It is the spelling and grammar. I'm an amateur beta tester, and one of the things that I tend to specialize on is the spelling and grammar of most of the work. Now, that actually does lead to quite a few problems, because more often than not, I will run into European-style English, and I'm an American. So, there are times when I will cite European-style English as being incorrect when it is correct for European, but incorrect for American. Yeah, but anyway. Yeah, that's just one of those things that I guess I'm going to have to put up with. Because it seems that AGS, Adventure Game Studio, is more popular in England than it is in the United States. Actually, this is part of the game that I do like, how the characters just bluntly tell you they're not interested in hearing the story. It's one of those things that I really, really wish that I could just bring myself to say at some point. Where I tell them to just forget it, I don't want to hear it. Or when I ask somebody something, I would like to say something like, yes or no, will do. But I can't really bring myself to say something like that. Actually, one thing about this is where the king's telling you about how the land is troubled by a powerful sorcerer. It makes me think of something said in Quest for Glory 3. Said by a tribesman who has a huge prejudice against magic users. But he says that all users of magic be bad. And, well, obviously not all users of magic are bad. I do notice that in a lot of games, your main villain actually is a user of magic. At least when it comes to the fantasy genre. Well, I suppose there are a few that don't use magic, but really I can't think of any. Some people would say that Quest for Glory 5, you didn't have a magic-using villain. But Minos, yeah, I spoiled that for you if you intended to play it, but that game came out a long time ago. Minos does kind of use magic there. Well, he's not a sorcerer or a wizard on his own right. He still is invoking ancient magic. But you think of other fantasy games. Stuff like, say, Heroine's Quest. The villain is a magic user, a frost giant who is using magic. Then there's, like, King Arthur, legends. Well, Morgan Le Fay, she uses magic. Let's see, Quest for Glory 1, it is Baba Yaga. Quest for Glory 2, Atavis. Quest for Glory 3, the Demon Sorcerer. Quest for Glory 4, Katrina and Atavis again. All of which are users of magic. So I don't know, they give them some bad JoJo there. Okay, now here's where the game actually starts. That was a 9-minute, 30-second introduction, and you cannot skip that. It's something that, personally, I don't think the game needed, but you do need to get the story out anyway. Now, this game actually has some nice little twists to it. Like this concept of the wizard who does not want to be a wizard, he wants to be a magician. And yeah, he does have a point if you actually read what he happens to say. When it comes to the wizard's non-magic trick. Yeah, I'm just keeping quiet so you can read this part. Well, anyway, now that that part is particularly over, one thing that does bring up for me is the question that why do we actually tend to glorify the gained gifts, you know, the gained skills or whatever, and will kind of, in a way, put down the natural gifts or the natural skills. You know, I can understand where, yeah, working for something does actually put you up on there because you had your dream and you really pushed yourself to get it. But anyway, when it comes down to, though, with the natural skills, it's like, no, you didn't work to get them, but does that really make it bad? I mean, does it really make it bad that you were given these things? Because, in my opinion, it's not so much what you have, it's how you use it. You know, even those that do work for a skill, do work for whatever it is that they're trying to achieve, they do have the natural gift of that determination, that strength of will. You know, that's just my thought on the matter. And I bring that up because a lot of people absolutely hated me when I was in school. Constantly accusing me of cheating on tests and cheating on this, cheating on that, because I was smart enough to get A's on everything, or I was always winning their trivia contests. And, you know, it really actually made me feel kind of bad that everybody hated me just because, you know, it came easy to me. You know, yeah, it came easy to me, but I never asked for that, and I definitely wasn't doing it to make anyone feel less of a person. You know, it's just, I was doing what I could do, and that was all there was to it. So really, you know, that to me is what Amazo, or whatever, or Andrastos, I guess his name is. See, now there's something I'm not good with, his names. But yeah, I mean, I can see that he has a natural gift, but he could also work on something else. Like, for me, I really, really, really want to make a game, but I can't for the life of me think of a story for it. So, now, actually, what you probably have already figured out here is that most of the people here you're looking for is supposed to be with the troupe. Little circus troupe. And actually, to be honest, I've never seen a circus where they had a magician. I've seen other things where they've had a magician, like the whole Magic on Ice thing that they show up was done. SeaWorld had a magician at one point. I suppose you could say that one of their shows was a circus with the sea animals. Though in that case, their magician was more of a clown. Things like where he would put a fish up on a plate, cover it up, and you could easily see the seal eat the fish off of the plate. But yeah, I thought that was kind of funny, but not that impressive. So, I don't know. Maybe it's just where I happen to live, but I do not see magicians in circuses. Which isn't to say that I haven't seen magicians. There was one magician that I remember in particular that he came to my school. We were booing at some kind of magic trick that he made. He started clapping just a little bit, and then everybody in the audience started cheering and clapping. That is the one trick I have never been able to figure out how he did that. Okay, now, anyway, this section, no, I did not mistakenly walk into the alleyway. You do need to walk into the alleyway. Otherwise, you will not be able to do what you need to do later. It's one of those things that you have to bring it up, and then you have to do something first, and then you can do something later. I guess it makes some amount of sense. Now, actually, with this disease, I never really looked it up to see if it's real. Not that I really cared. Now, I've never actually seen anybody with pink eyes like that. But, yeah, I could tell where that's kind of strange. The one thing that I always felt was strange was a kindergarten teacher that I worked with. She actually had purple eyes. And, of course, this had to come out. Or I had met her just around the time that the movie version of Roald Dahl's The Witches came out, in which one of the witches is said to have purple eyes. I don't know if that kindergarten teacher ever suspected why I was continuously looking at her eyes. But I was. Anyway, one thing I do want to ask you again is, do you think that I should turn this more into a showcase than a walkthrough channel? Because one of the reasons that I've actually done AGS walkthrough is because I believe that AGS does not actually get enough attention. You know, yes, these are an old-fashioned game, but it's the kind of game that I grew up with. And I've had other people from a younger generation play them, and yeah, actually, they do happen to like these kind of games. You know, I just kind of see it as that the world moved on, but, you know, not entirely. It's like, it's still there. The niche is still there. The people who are interested in it, you know, they're still there. There's still a new generation to learn from it. But companies just are not coming out with them anymore. You know, and Chris Jones, the creator of this gaming engine, had said that he created his game engine just to make sure that these kind of games continued on. Well, I'm thinking that maybe I can help these games continue on, even get some people who are interested in making their own games, you know about this by showcasing the games. Also, I feel that by letting people know about these games, getting them to play it, they can encourage the game makers, the ones who've actually done this kind of thing, to keep making games, you know, make new ones, help them out with that. So yeah, I would like your help on that. Just should this become showcase instead of walkthrough? Because as a walkthrough, I do try to show you very little of the game. More or less just show you how to get through the puzzles, but I don't know. Some people have said that's kind of boring. Now, the only reason why I decided walkthrough instead of showcase is because I didn't want to show you everything, and then you don't want to feel like you need to play it. So yeah, please write that in the comments below. What do you think I should do? Okay, well, again, you can have your little jokes talking to this guy, which are kind of funny. Not exactly my kind of fun, but funny for some people. Oh yeah, this guy, the comedian. In my opinion, the worst character in the game. What is the problem with it? It's that every time you enter into the screen, he says the same joke. Yes, he does actually have more than one joke, but you actually have to wait in the room or wait in the screen for him to tell the jokes. And, I don't know, I get the jokes, just to me, they're not funny. Which is more than I can actually say for a number of bad comedians. It's that you don't get the joke. In this case, yeah, I get it. But again, the problem I have with this guy, though, is just that every time you come in, he's telling the same joke. Reminds me of some kid that I had to stand in front of in high school. That alphabetical order thing with the lines. And every single day he made the same stupid joke at my expense. Every single day. I mean, even his friends eventually told him, it's not funny, you tell the same joke every day. Remember, he kept insisting, no, he's funny, he's really funny. Well, sorry about that. Well, anyway, now here we are inside the apothecary, or the strange old woman. For those of you who don't know, that doll that you just dyed the hair of was a troll doll. And for those of you who do remember, they have those ugly little dolls with the huge hair. I remember that they used to have the wishing trolls, where they had a little gem in the middle. You rub the gem, you make a wish. If I could make a wish on one of those, I'd wish that they wouldn't look so damned ugly. Also, do any of you remember the show Stone Protectors? That just shows how popular the troll dolls went. Yeah, but Stone Protectors... If there was ever a bad idea for a TV show... I still remember the commercial where they were saying, we were a band that wasn't any good. I don't know. Yeah, bands aren't always good, but my brother's in a band, and one of those things is that when you're trying to go into entertainment, you get a lot of rejections, you get kicked out of places, it's actually a pretty hard thing to deal with. But if you really keep at it, and you're willing to do the right kind of work, you'll make it. Now here, this scene with the cricket players, I don't understand. What is the contempt for cricket? I know I don't really understand cricket. But then, I don't really care much for sports. Yeah, I don't care much for sports. I don't care much to... play baseball or football or soccer or whatever, American. Anyway. I personally don't care much for sports, so when it comes to this cricket joke, I don't get the joke. I don't see what's the problem with cricket. I don't see what's with all the seagulls. Now, if you were to show me a cricket bat, yeah, I know what it is. But that's about it. Now, finally, we walk over to the circus. Yep, that is a seal balancing a ball on his nose. And never seen one of those in a circus. I've seen lions, I've seen tigers, I've seen elephants, but I've never seen a seal in a circus. Actually, just looking at the attractions they have for this circus, I can tell that this was probably one of the most boring circuses ever. I mean, they don't have the acrobats, and for me, the acrobats were always the best part of the attraction. Yeah, I've seen quite a few acrobatic acts, and really, it always impressed me just how much work really has to go into those kind of things. And one of the more dazzling ones that I've seen was the hula hoop acrobat. Now, she started using all these different hula hoops, grabbing onto a hook that was lowered down for her actually hula hooping in the air. And then always there was the idea of the flaming hula hoop. The strong man, I have never seen in any kind of circus, and personally, I don't think I'd be all that impressed. I've been to gyms, and I've seen people of varying size, varying strength. So, strongman I wouldn't be too impressed with. I've seen fire eaters. That I liked. What I did not like so much were the horse acts. Mainly because in the horse acts that I saw, this guy was actually cracking a whip onto the horses. To me, that just seemed cruel. There has got to be an easier way and a much kinder way to get the horses to do what you want. So with you, actually, what were your favorite circus acts, Did you see any of them that were more impressive than others? Because, I've seen various circus acts. They're not, some of them are okay, some of them are actually great. But I never liked the idea of just people having to use a whip on the animals. And of course, now one thing that I do remember quite a bit of was the time that I did actually get to ride on an elephant. In that particular case, I was up front seeing those really stiff and very sparsely placed hairs on top of the elephant's head. I don't know, it felt weird as well, just riding on the elephant. It's not at all any kind of bit of smooth. Unfortunately, at some point we saw the show, I think it was Good Pets Gone Bad or something like that. In any case, after we saw that one, there was an episode where an elephant got crazy, didn't like being ridden anymore, so she smashed the riding apparatus and was carrying around a family on her back when she went on her rampage. After that, my mother said that we are not going to be riding on the elephants anymore, and also, none of the circuses that come to my area had any more elephants to ride. I don't know, I guess it sounds practical enough, but at the same time, I don't know how rare or common that really is, and sometimes I would think that it is worth the risk. But then again, I'm not a company, and I don't have to worry about the insurance. Now let's move on to another section. Oh yeah, right here, if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm trying to find the one magic spot that you can choose to get out of the screen. This is one of the most annoying screens to get out of because you have to do some searching for it. It would have been nice if you were told something about walk to path. You know, especially like this section here, where you can actually walk off to the right of cricket players. It took me some searching to actually find that. I didn't realize it. Ah, yes. Now, here we have the two kids who are hanging by the chin-up bar. Now, I have to say, it's actually kind of interesting that you have the girl holding on with her hands, the boy with his knees. That only comes from the concept that females don't have any upper body strength or don't have as much as males. You know, I can understand that, you know, again, this game is supposed to be kind of backwards, and maybe it is. But in real life, I have never actually seen a boy hanging by his knees and a girl hanging by her hands. It was always the opposite. I mean, there was a time when I wanted to try hanging by my knees, and I never worked up the courage to do it. Now I can't. I weigh way too much, but you know, it's just one of those things that I've always wondered about. Like, why is it that the girls like to hang off by their knees more so than the boys? Okay, here we go, then. We finally get our first members of the troupe. Now, I guess they're supposed to be your acrobatic act. The boy and the girl. Now, anyway, with the hairy doll given to the mother to practice hair cutting with, it reminds me of my sister when she would get Barbie dolls. One of the Barbie dolls was supposed to be one that you could cut the hair from. Unfortunately, she didn't realize that you're supposed to cut the hair from the attached hair, or the hair that you attach onto it yourself, not the hair that's built into the doll. Oh, so after she got that thing, she was so happy, and she got so upset when she couldn't make the doll look the way she wanted it to look. Eagerness just is not a good thing. Okay, so now we can also pick up the little bike. The tricycle will have use later on in the game. The kids, we don't actually have to talk to in this case, since we just bribed their mother to give them to us. Here, sunscreen. And you want his glasses. Hehehe. I don't know, maybe... Again, the joke just doesn't work for me. I would have just made the trade. So, with these glasses, though, we can continue on. Like I said, this guy says the same joke every time you come in here. The Tutankhamun thing. Now, actually, in this part of the game, there is a small glitch. If you try talking to Drew again, there's a chance that Drew will end up without the glasses, and then they'll start appearing and disappearing at random intervals during the game. It doesn't really stop you from finishing the game or anything, but it looks kind of neat if you like doing that kind of thing. Yeah, seal meat. Never had seal meat, but from what I've heard, it's incredibly high in fat, and from what I saw of it, the seal meat is very dark red meat. So I don't know. It's pretty much polar bear food. Oh yes, the bear. Now, again, I've never seen a bear in a circus. Now, let me ask you, have you seen a bear performing in a circus? Because I've only seen that kind of thing in cartoons. And is it a regional thing? Is it a country thing? Or do they even do that at all? You know, again, the kind of things that I've heard them doing is that they can ride around on unicycles or balance on a ball. But I don't know, and bears are not, bipeds or quadrupeds. So it doesn't really make sense that they'd be able to do that kind of thing. And if you're wondering about my voice, it's just that I've used up my drink, so I'm having a hard time talking a little bit. But there are still things that I want to talk about, so I'll just have to bear with it. Now, when it comes to riding bikes, the one time that I saw somebody riding a bike that I thought was pretty impressive inside of a circus was during, what was it? Las Vegas's Circus Casino. In that one, there was a person continuously riding smaller and smaller bicycles. The smallest one that he got, I would say, is about maybe half the size of your standard child's tricycle. The way that he was able to jump off and just hold it in his hand like that, that was pretty neat. So yeah, truth is, I like circuses well enough. As long as you have it where, the people in it seem like they're okay with it, that they're happy with it, and they're not abusing any animals. In fact, they're not abusing any people either. But that's the kind of circus that I like to watch. I don't know, when he says a little bike and it's red, what does he care if it's red? He never said anything about a bike needing to be red. Even if you talk to him the whole way, he does not mention anything about needing it to be red. Well, that's it for the bear right now. The one thing I can say about this game is that once you've actually managed to navigate your way through it, it's fairly easy. So it's an okay game for beginner players. It has some interesting things to look at in it and all that. But like I said, it's kind of the easier type of game. Like you already noticed that that what you need to get rid of this girl is right there next to her. You don't have to go exploring. You don't have to go looking for anybody or anything. Her name's Sarah. Yeah, actually, that does bring up an interesting point with Little Red Riding Hood. They never do mention her actual name. I don't know. This is the only other time that I've heard her by a name. The other one was when she was called Possum. Oh, politis. I remember reading a parody on Little Red Riding Hood. In that particular case, it says that she hadn't come within 10 feet of the wolf when she stopped, because a wolf looked no more like her grandmother than Calvin Coolidge looked like the Metro-Goldwyn lion. So she took an automatic out of her basket and shot the wolf dead. That may have been the inspiration for B.B. Hood from the game Darkstalkers. So let's get rid of Red Riding Hoodie here. I have seen that before somewhere. I just can't remember where. Yeah, way to justify it to yourself, Zale. Yeah, the thing where I tended to forget that, yeah, there is more space than you can initially see, so that's why I don't go to where I should have gone first. But at least I can handle this little problem right now. Yeah, the digestive biscuits makes me think of a story my mother told me. Her mother used to keep these chocolate laxatives in her purse. And when my mother was a child, she apparently raided her mother's chocolate stash. Something that she regretted for the rest of the night. But then again, there's something to be said about not eating chocolates in front of your kids. So yeah, again, like I said before, I had forgotten about this location. That's why I wasted time going back and then coming here instead. Yeah, left his oven on, huh? Yeah, that was one of those things that I kind of had a problem with, actually realizing you could pick up the dog. At that point, I just started clicking everything on it, and lo and behold, you could pick up the dog and carry him around. Actually, Zale should be the magician. He could pull anything out of his hat, not just a silly little rabbit. Yep, the same joke again. Now, this one actually requires a little bit of pixel hunting. You may not have noticed the cat that's sitting right there. Personally, I think that could have been averted really easy just by making the cat a different color. You know, turning it into a black cat or a brown cat. Even a gray tabby would have been better than the white cat that this person used. But anyway, you get your fur and you can give it to the woman. Now, I don't know if this has been changed since I got this version of the game, but as it turns out, you can't actually ask her about the sleeping potion until you have seen the pie. That's the only reason why I went for the pie when I did, or when you saw the pie there. Actually, in this case, with the use a sleeping potion on the pie, at this point I was really hoping that there would be a little bit more of a challenge to it. I really did not want this to be that easy. And actually, it's because of that that I had such a hard time finishing this part of the game. And I figured there was something else, there had to be something else that you had to do to the pie. You can't just put a sleeping potion on it. It can't be that easy. Turns out, yeah, it was that easy. Yeah, from what I found out, with the whole idea of swinging from the chandelier, it's a movie thing, and a movie thing alone. Most chandeliers aren't even close enough to the ground for you to swing off of them, and apparently the counterweight of the chandelier doesn't let you swing all that far anyway. But it makes a nice looking scene on the movie screen, right? Right, and of course, you find that you didn't put the poster in. Yes, very angry. Really, that thank you is one word. It always bothers me. Now, at this point, yeah, I noticed that I'm not going anywhere, and fortunately I had dropped my mouse button and had to pick it up. But that's the only problem that's happened there. It's nothing with the game. And of course, we can finally get to work on assembling the last of our troupe and getting our circus. We never do have to go back to the apothecary. So let's just go to the circus tent. And of course you notice the first member of the troupe is gone. I swear, people really are cruel to animals. At least in the game. You see, with this guy, you reunite him with his family. Wait a minute. Right, this part where it says, apart from those pink ribbons. Again, I don't understand. What is the joke? You know, I just don't know. What is the joke with that? See, like, this guy, he gets to go meet up with his father. I think that they could have had a pretty interesting joke. Like, you find out more about what's happened between him and his father. Maybe this guy beats up his father for abandoning him or something. But that's left out of the game. Same thing with this person here, Missy. It's like, no, she doesn't get to meet up with somebody that she's wanted, but it's like, it's a job that she wants to have. Now, and that, again, it's like things turn out well for her, things turn out well for the strongman. The only thing that doesn't, or only one here who doesn't have anything that turns out well for him is the seal. Now, my actual leaving the circus tent is necessary, because the ringmaster will only acknowledge that he has no troupe left after you've left the tent and come back in. If you talk to him after getting rid of the troupe, but he's not yet crying, he's going to act like everything's just fine and normal. Well, anyway, I hope this doesn't hurt any of your sensitivities. This kind of thing, the only racist, or I don't know how exactly you'd put it, but the whole against the Amish thing. But then again, I guess it could be harmless enough. I'm sure that some Amish people make the same statements about, what is it, the us English? Actually, with the whole give it away thing, I remember at one point I had to give one of my dogs away. The insurance company wouldn't let me keep her. I ended up giving her to my neighbors, but they were pretty surprised when I told them, actually, I'm looking for a home for her. Would you take her? It just seems like most people want some kind of price attached to something. They are much, much, much more skeptical when you offer something for free. And yet, oftentimes when you tell people they need to pay for something, they'll kind of wrinkle up their noses at it. Yeah, once again, trying to find that magic spot. And now, we're coming to the last leg of the gathering up of the troupe. Since we now have the circus, all we need to do is start showing everybody, hey look, I've got a circus. Yeah, this mother actually selling her kids off to the circus like this is a lot better than a number of parents would do in the old times. Infanticide was one of the most common crimes that was around. And those of you who know the story of Moses, how they would take the children and throw them into the river, that wasn't just around that area, and it wasn't just a specific group doing that either. Most parents just could not afford to keep their children, so they tossed them off into the river, or there were times when they would hire somebody to take care of the child, and, well, the people who were hired to take care of the child would take the money and get rid of the child. That's not one of the better things of life, but you know, when you think about it, just having the kids go into a circus, that's really not as bad. Again, I don't understand the joke. A large crowd of people. Now, this part I actually do like the joke. Talking about how kids are frightened by the clowns, but the parents think they love it. Yeah, you know, according to many polls and surveys that I've read, most kids actually do think that clowns are very creepy. You know, the colorophobia, I believe it's called, turns out to be one of the more common fears. And yeah, I can believe it. I've actually seen some people, older individuals, who did not want to walk to a certain area because they had a clown in there, you know, standing there. Yes, actually, he did hurt a lot of people, but not really too many people. In fact, I'd say the only person who was permanently harmed through all of this would be the ringleader, and even he isn't permanently harmed, I'd say. So the only one who he permanently harmed was the seal. Yeah, the contortionist. I remember seeing a contortionist once. I don't know. My mother watched Contortionist. Then she suddenly had to leave the audience to go to the bathroom. So, yeah, I can understand, though, why she was feeling kind of sickened by the whole idea. Of course, with her, the contortionist wasn't the only thing that she couldn't stand. She also could not stand the sword swallower. At that point, she got sick when the sword swallower had stuck a neon tube down his throat and lifted up his throat so you could see that the inside of his throat was actually glowing. I don't know, she just doesn't have a stomach for that kind of thing. And here we are with, I'd say, one of the most boring, successes in the game. In fact, no, I'd say the two most boring ones. Because both of the characters in this particular scene, all you need to do is let them know, oh, I've got a circus. You don't even have to worry about, the pimp saying, hey, you can't take her because she's my only worker, and then you have to get Missy to take her place because, you can't get the circus deed without getting rid of Missy. To me, this game has great potential. It can really benefit from a remake. Flesh it out a little bit. I wouldn't say surprisingly easy, I'd say that's boringly easy. And again, you notice the old man is missing. Like I said, that could have been a great joke. But the opportunity was passed by. And now, here we are with our last member of the circus. And yep, I would have to say this is also another rather boring circus. I mean, okay, granted, it's better than the other circus if the kind of things that they're going to do is what I think it is. You have yourself a magician, a clown, a performing bear, a contortionist, and I suppose an acrobatic act. But again, I just don't know. It doesn't seem like it's enough. And let's get a real act in there. And let's get the sword swallower. Let's, get the fire eater or something. Just something to really dazzle the crowd. But as a start, I suppose it's okay. When I look at that bear, I actually see more of a seal than a bear. I think it's his purple coloring and the position he's in. Well, he's got good ambitions. Now, with him, I do have to wonder about his showmanship. That ringmaster does have to keep the crowd's attention. Like that trick that I pulled there, that would have been a great trick. Yeah, very far away. We get it. Now, this old plot twist actually did catch me off guard. I didn't actually expect it. I thought you'd get your circus and that's it and that's all. Yeah, no use. Yeah, I remember that kind of thing. Yeah, at one point, a little prank was pulled on me where somebody tried locking the door on me. Yeah, as it turned out, I didn't even try the door, and finally, the person who pulled the prank on me ended up walking in, saying that the door was never locked. Not that I was too worried about being stuck in the room, so he didn't find it all that funny after all. But yeah, that whole thing, you don't even try. Actually, this is one of those things about the game I can complain about. It's just the incredibly long cutscenes. Yeah, I personally do not like really long cutscenes in adventure games. Maybe I would have enjoyed it a little bit more if there was voice acting in it. But even then, I just think that, this is too much. We don't really need a long cutscene. Now, if you're wondering why I don't narrate these things myself, part of it is that I can't do the voices, and the other part is that a lot of these people say words that, just from my own code of honor, I will not say. I don't use that kind of language. So, unfortunately, if you really want me to read it, that's not going to happen. This actually reminds me a little bit of Batman Returns, where they gave the keys to a monkey, and Max Shrek was able to get out by showing him that he had some white handkerchief. And here is the princess. Think I'm gonna save her? Forget it. You think you can save her? Well then, try playing the game and find out. It's amazing how resilient some of these game characters are with their falls. Especially since you see some of these people who fall from several stories up and they're able to get up and walk around again, and then you have people who fall maybe 3 or 4 feet to the ground, and that kills them. Yeah, I'm looking at you, King's Quest 4. Hey, at least we got rid of the wolf head. Actually, the way I see this, the game does borrow elements from Monkey Island. Stuff like this, where you find yourself on the deserted island with just one particular individual. You know, being there, the little hermit. Really, I have to wonder, would it be so bad to be living on an island like this? People pay money to visit these islands. People pay money to retire on these islands. You know, so let me ask you, if you did find yourself on a deserted island, would you want to stay or would you want to go home? Personally, I think I'd rather just stay. I'm with you, Zale. Oh yeah, now get ready for what I would say is the absolute most boring solution to a puzzle in any adventure game that I've found. And there you are. Your martini glass, the sun hat, and the umbrella. Well, no, that's not everything that you need. I have to say that is the most boring, solution that I've seen. It's right there, right where you need it. Same screen even. Just spear it with your pitchfork, you know. I kind of wish that they would have shown more of the bird here, like it would have noticed him or something. But I guess that was kind of a hard thing to animate or to show. Yes, the bird actually laid a blue Lego brick. I don't know, the legs look like Big Bird, but otherwise I don't understand. Where did that concept come from? again, this could really benefit from a remake. Like, maybe they could have actually shown what kind of boat it is that he's made here. Like, what is it that he needed with them? Like, even if he was just going to, take the 3 items he got from the walrus thing so he can lounge around on a ship, that would have been kind of a fun thing to watch. But since it doesn't show any of that, it just really kind of ruins the joke. Yes, 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 let's go take a look. No, don't tell him you don't care. Just let's go take a look, huh? I guess the bird got its revenge. Not a chance, Zale. Not a chance. And no, he never actually does catch that fish. So it's all going to be the same thing when you get out. Here's one thing I didn't like was the ladder part. You actually do have to say use ladder. You can't walk to ladder like everything else. Just like with the baseball bat, you have to pick it up before you use it. But then I guess programming can be kind of a difficulty. But you killed off a seal. Typecasting. Now you think of that? Something Zale needs to think about is that everything that anybody voluntarily does is to benefit himself. Again, it's not a bad thing, it's just a fact of life. Anything that you voluntarily do, you do to benefit yourself. Doesn't mean it can't benefit others. It can't mean that you're actually going to get the benefit that you think it's going to give you. But you are actually trying to benefit yourself in one way or another. And here we go with what's known as, to me, the final cutscene. Yep, we're at the end. Well, Rebecca Clements, It probably does do that. As I was saying, Rebecca Clements, I do have to say I'm pretty impressed with everything that you managed to do by yourself. But at the same time, that's probably the problem with the game. That only one person did it. And change the hat. That's what I say. So yeah, it's like Rebecca Clements does a lot. It's great and all, but you know, I really think that it would have been better if more people worked on it. They could have came up with some new ideas and they got a bit more done on it. Yeah, that's right. I left her up there. There's a bucket in the corner. So we do see that there are a few people who did a few other things. So overall, I guess it's not the worst of games. Just one that could really benefit from some more workers. And it would really help if they made a remake of this and fleshed it out quite a bit. Oh, you think this is over? Oh, it's not over just yet. No. In the true tradition of the game, we're gonna have to wait a bit. I will say that it's at least better than the Monkey Island 2 thing, where you have to... Yeah, I'd like to go away now, except you forgot to give me the option to quit during the end credits. As I was saying, Monkey Island 2 thing, where it explains all these things that you can do instead of playing the game. Which it ends with the word, not. Well, anyway, that's the end of Cirque De Zale. Me Screwball now. Yabo.